What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Will Johnson. If you haven't already, you know the routine. Please go ahead and share this no matter how you're watching this or listening. Please do me that favor. Bless me by hitting the share button. Okay, we have a lot to talk about. And the first thing that I want to get into, I really want to talk about how Joe Biden, the Hunter Biden case, it's like they're all getting off scot-free. This past weekend, and I did a short video, and one particular outlet didn't allow people to see that video that much. And it's really talking about how the DOJ sent a letter to Hunter Biden's best friend, and his best friend lawyer saying, you know what, the DOJ sent the lawyer saying, hey, you need to report in, you're being arrested, XYZ. And listen to Comey and other Republicans. This has never happened before. So this happened on Saturday. Comer is talking about it Sunday and saying that they've never done this before. And other Republicans have come out saying that they've never done this either. So why in the world are they allowing this to happen? I'm still blown away. Kevin McCarthy should have already said, okay, you know what? Since we control the purse, we're going to take your funding away. This should have already happened. Either we're a banana republic or we're not. It's one or the other. We are not a banana republic or we are a banana republic. We can't be both. So if we're not a banana republic, you need to go ahead and take their funding away. They'll start acting up. They'll start doing the right thing after that. Because right now, and I still don't understand this, how is it that the Biden crime family has so much control over the DOJ and the FBI and the CIA? How is it that they have so much control over them? There's stuff that we don't have a clue about. That's the only explanation. Because any other time in the past, when corruption at this level was happening, the DOJ, the FBI would step in and do the right thing. But that's no longer the case. Well, the guy, Hunter Biden's best friend, was a Devin Archer. He goes into court, and I'm going to show y'all really quick what he was doing while he was going into court. And he's smiling from ear to ear. And as soon as my producer saw this, she was like, yeah, he's not going to go in there and be truthful. That was her first response, that he's going to go into this hearing with the Democrats and the Republicans, and he's going to deflect as much as possible. But watch the expression on his face as he's walking in D.C.
Today. Do you have anything to say? Did you have meetings with the Bidens, and can you elaborate on those things?
Did anyone tell you not to appear today, sir?
Did anyone tell you not to appear today? And he just goes in, he doesn't say anything to anybody because it looked like he's just really happy. How many of y'all would be happy to be in that position, to be with Hunter Biden, knowing good and well that Hunter Biden did some criminal activity and that guy is going to jail for some other unrelated stuff because he's a known criminal as well. He is already on his way to jail, apparently. But they wanted to prevent him from having any conversation today with the Republicans. Let me play this one for you. This one, I think we just have to play it right here like this. Yeah, we just have to play it like this. Listen to this one, because Jesse Waters, he's bringing up the same thing that I've been talking about. Same thing. Actually, no, I'm not going to go to Jesse Waters. I'm going to go to this one first. I'm going to go to this one. Listen to this first. I'll get to Jesse Waters. But listen to this, because this is the Communist News Network. Right after they ran right to the cameras to lie, blatantly lie to the American people. Watch this.
So Goldman sort of explaining that Archer qualified the topics of discussion on these phone calls as niceties that Biden sometimes didn't even know who was on the other line with his son Hunter. And, sources in the room telling CNN now that Archer did not point the finger directly at any sort of a connection between Joe Biden and his son's foreign business dealings, and rather, said that Hunter Biden was selling the illusion of said access. Boris?
Really a stunning development, Zach, when you consider that Republicans were selling this as a breakthrough that would link Hunter's business dealings with his father. Instead, business was apparently never discussed, according to Devin Archer. Zach.
See right there? Right there. Do you hear what he just said, Shannon? You hear what he just said? Listen to this part again. Everybody listen to this part again. This is key.
Yes. Boris?
Really a stunning development, Zach, when you consider that Republicans were selling this as a breakthrough that would link Hunter's business dealings with his father.
So he was saying that they're coming out saying the Republicans were saying this is the breakthrough. This is the breakthrough. He actually confirmed what they were saying. But see, the Communist News Network, MSDNC, ABC, CBS, the entire Alphabet Network soup group, none of them will acknowledge it. It's such a bizarre time that we're living in right now.
It totally is.
It's such a bizarre time. And let me give you an example. And I've used this example before. And I'm just going to use this example for people that never heard this before. There's this movie called Left Behind. And it have Left Behind series. And there's this one particular scene. And people that know what I'm talking about, heard me talk about this before, you know exactly where I'm going with this. There's this one particular scene where the Antichrist is walking around the table of where the world leaders were. He's walking around, and Kirk Cameron is there, and he gets to one section where there's two guys that they want to be in control. They were telling Ecola, I think that was his name, that the only reason why he's in that position is because of them. Well, he went to one of the security guards, grabbed the security guard firearm, and killed both of them. And then all of a sudden, afterwards, he walked around the table again with the gun. Kirk Cameron looked at him because he's seen all this. And then he dropped the gun and said, "Oh, my goodness, everybody. He was trying to shoot him, and then he shot himself. Save me, right?" And then they turn the lights on, and they rush him out of there. And everyone go, "Oh, my goodness, it was so terrible. It was so terrible that they shot each other. And, Ecola could have been hurt." Everyone saw what just happened, but they believed what the Antichrist was telling them. We live in that world today. We have it where this guy, Devin Archer, goes in and tells them, confirms everything that they've been saying, what the Republicans been saying. He actually confirmed it. But if you listen to the liberal media news, every last one of them say the opposite. They're saying the opposite. Let's go to this one here. This is a Democrat running out the door as soon as he could to get in front of the cameras to beat the truth. This is what they do. They go out and they'll lie to everybody because when people hear the lie to begin with, that's the story that they run with. They don't run with anything else. They don't listen to anything else. Most people, especially those on the left, they don't hear anything else. Listen to how he's deliberately lying about what took place.
The witness, Mr. Archer, was very clear that Hunter spoke to his father every day. And he indicated that he approximated about 20 times over the course of his 10-year business relationship that he had with Mr. Biden, with Hunter Biden, which would be about twice a year, that Hunter would put his father on speakerphone with whomever was at dinner, and there was no indication that he had any idea who was at dinner with them. It was just a say, "Hello, I'm at dinner here," and there was nothing related to his business dealings.
I mean, wow. Just wow. And I've been talking about this all day long. When I first heard this, I was telling my producer, I said, you know what happened here? He has the same case, the same syndrome as James Comey. You remember James Comey? No reasonable prosecutor will go after Hillary Rodham Clinton. And it have to be reasonable because you might end up somewhere pushing up daisies, messing with the Clintons. I think that's how I perceive what he was talking about. But you know what's happening here? He's saying that Joe Biden, when he was on these phone calls with these other criminals, with Hunter Biden, across the planet, that they were only talking about the weather. they were only talking about what's the price of gas there. And he probably wasn't even talking about that. He's probably, he's basically saying that they're talking about wedding invitations, wedding emails. Y'all remember the wedding emails with Hillary Clinton? Does anybody, can y'all type in the chat? Say, yes, I remember the wedding emails with Hillary Clinton. Go ahead, put them on the screen real quick. Y'all remember that? This is the exact same thing. Oh, Joe Biden, he just talked about the weather. They just talked about family stuff. They talked about, probably weddings in there. They didn't talk about any business, nothing of importance. But it even wasn't about that. Of course, Joe Biden's going to try to keep his name off of it as much as possible. But he was, based on all the information that came out, he was in business with him. He's just saying he wasn't in business with him. And the main thing here, Joe Biden was asked repeatedly, did he ever have conversations with Hunter Biden?
Yes, well, everybody pretty much, there's quite a few people in the chat that are saying, yes, they remember that.
Yeah, everybody remember. It's like the no, it's not a server, but it's that same thing 2.0. Listen to this one. Here's another one. Is this the second one? Listen to this. Same setting where he comes out there running in front of the camera, literally lying to everybody.
So to confirm, you're saying that the speakerphone conversations, they don't seem concerning to you because there was no specifics about business, and it just seemed like
it was clear that it was part of the daily conversations that Hunter Biden had with his father.
Now you remember, Joe Biden said he never had any conversations with Hunter when it came to his business dealings. He said he had no idea what business Hunter was doing, what he was doing. And now you can listen to this Democrat straight up saying that he talked to him every day about his business dealings. So now they're flipping the script.
And it just seemed like
it was clear that it was part of the daily conversations that Hunter Biden had with his father. And it was and sounded like most of the time now President Biden didn't even know who the people he was at dinner. He was just asked to say hello. And he would, talk about the way he described it several times. They asked over and over and over. He described what the weather was, how what's going on your end. The witness was very, very consistent that none of those conversations ever had to do with any business dealings or transactions. They were purely what he called casual conversations.
So who made the $3 million from China?
China.
Who made the $3 million? I wish someone would say, well, what about the $3 million that Joe Biden made? What about that? What about the $5 million that just came out? 5 for Joe, 5 for Hunter.
Well, they know that it went to Hunter's account, right?
Exactly.
So you have that connection. It's funny how, they act like, oh, there's no connection, but we have the connection. We just need somebody to verify that that's what it was.
But actually, they did verify the connections. They did verify it. The Democrats run out there before all the other cameras can talk to anybody else, and they spew the lie. They tell the lie because that's what people will go with. Yep. They'll go with that and they'll say, oh, I've already heard enough. I heard all that I need to hear. Like, for example, listen to this one where a reporter was asking, saying, now you're kind of changing the script here because originally Joe Biden said he never even had conversations.
Yeah,
and he just admitted, I just played the clip where he just admitted that Joe Biden was in multiple conversations with them.
Just so people know, this is Goldman. He's a Democrat. He does the same thing. Remember when Raskin came out of the skit with the whistleblower,
right out there lying.
Yeah, and he lied about what it didn't have in it. This is Goldman. He does the same thing about this hearing.
Yes, listen to this.
Doesn't that contradict the president's statement saying that he never talked to any of Hunter Biden's business associates? Clearly, he talked, whether about the weather or whatever, but he said specifically that he's never talked to them. Doesn't this contradict them?
I don't know what his comment is, and if we're gonna, well, I don't think that's what he said.
You hear this? I don't think that's what he said. Let me go ahead and skip to this part, and I'm gonna come back to this video, but I want y'all to hear this because you hear what he just said. Because he just said a second ago that Hunter Biden talked to Joe Biden every day about different things, and including these business deals that he was doing. He said he talked to him every day. Listen to this, because he just lied in the same setting.
Mr. Vice President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about the overseas business dealings.
And so how do you know?
You hear that? He said he never spoke to him. But here he's saying, I don't think that's what he said. He said he never spoke to him about any of his business dealings. Listen.
Doesn't this contradict him?
I don't know what his comment is, and if we're gonna, well, I don't think that's what he said. He never said that he has never spoken to anyone. He said that he had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings.
He just lied. Why didn't they call him out on it? Because Joe Biden said, I never talked to his son about his business dealings. And then in the other video I just played for you, he said he talked to him every day about them. So now they're changing the tune, saying that he wasn't in business with them. You see how they're doing this?
If he says hello to someone that he sees his son with, well, is he supposed to say, hi, son? No, I'm not going to say hello to the other people at the table or the other people on the phone. It's kind of a preposterous premise to think that a father should not say hello to people that the son is at dinner with, and that is literally all the evidence is.
You hear this?
It's like a party trick that Hunter Biden used to impress the people he was with.
You hear that last part? Do you think it was a party trick that Hunter Biden used to entertain the people that he was with?
Yeah.
You think it's a party trick? And I'm pretty sure he didn't like that question either.
I mean, because that's what they're trying to make it sound like. Oh, this isn't exactly what you're making it out to be. So they're like, oh, it's a party trick. Yeah. Okay. Haha. Very funny. Right.
Yeah.
People are getting onto this, right? The reporters, even you're seeing it, Will, we're hearing them actually go, so you're saying it's just this or it's just that. They're actually kind of mocking these Democrats that are coming out and trying to change the narrative of what's happening, right? I'm a little upset, and I told you earlier that Comer or Jordan didn't come out and do a little press conference as well.
And I'm still kind of confused on why they didn't.
Yeah, and they're still quiet. Now, Comer did put out a statement, which we're going to
show. Yeah, we're going to that statement. You want to actually put that up there right now before we go into this one with Jesse Waters? Let me play the Jesse Waters first.
Okay.
And then we'll do that.
Okay.
Because I want y'all to listen, because Jesse Waters, I like that. I hadn't seen this one until we came on here. I saw this right before we came on tonight, everybody, because he was saying a lot of the things that I was saying. And everyone is saying the same thing, right? It's like not an epiphany. It's like everyone's saying the same thing. Listen to this. This is kind of lengthy. I don't know if I'm going to play all of it, but he's so spot on.
So the Democrats first said this was Russia disinformation, and now they're saying, yeah, Joe Biden talked to his son's business partners, but it was about the weather. Mm-hmm. So we've made a lot of progress over the last 2.5 years. Let me show you how this works. A country hires someone because their father's vice president. And then the guy hangs out with the guys who hired him, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to get the vice president on the phone. Vice president talks to all the guys that hired him, and that's why they hired him, because he can get the vice president on the phone. You're selling access. You're selling influence. That's the Biden family business, and it's been that way for 4 decades. Now, if you're saying that Hunter and his father talk on the phone every single day, well, what happens the day after the phone call he's on with the business partners? So you put me on with a bunch of Romanians yesterday while you were in Bucharest. Why are you in Romania, and who were those guys? Right. Are we still pretending Biden has no idea what's going on here? They're selling the Biden brand. That's what they're getting paid for. And the Biden brand, according to Hunter, was gold. Now, forget about the phone call for a second. Okay, the 20 phone calls. How about all of the dinners at Cafe Milano? You're saying he goes to dinners with the Chinese, the Kazakhstanis, the Greeks, the Romanians, the Greeks. And it's a dinner where you sit down and you have an appetizer, an entree, dessert, and they're talking about weather the whole time. I mean, you could do weather for about 5 minutes, but the whole dinner, it can't be all about weather.
Thank you. We're going to talk about the weather. Well, we'll talk about summer, and then we'll talk about winter. We'll talk about fall. We'll talk about spring. We'll just talk about all of those the entire time throughout the dinner. It's the most idiotic thing ever. And again, they look at us and they take us for granted. They think that we're stupid. They're insulting our intelligence. Every last one of us, like we can't see what's happening here. Like we can't see it. They're doing it. They don't care that we see it. They're going to continue doing it. Listen.
Also, we find from Devin Archer that, yes, Hunter was hired to get Joe to fire the prosecutor. We also found out that Joe sits down with a billionaire from Russia, and then a month later, Hunter gets a wire from $3.5 million from the Russian billionaire. And then Hunter flies with Joe on Air Force Two to China. Then a week later, Hunter gets millions of dollars from the Chinese. And then Joe gets on the phone with the Chinese business partners on speaker. And then Joe writes a letter of recommendation to Brown University for the guy's daughter. But Joe has no idea what's going on. Everywhere Joe Biden goes, Hunter gets paid. Joe goes to China, Hunter gets paid. He goes to Romania, he gets paid. Kazakhstan gets paid. Ukraine gets paid. We're not adding this thing up. We're still pretending Joe's not connected to anything. Why does Joe Biden have 6 different alias email accounts? Why does the family have 20 shell companies? Why is this now a $50 million racket? Now you have 2 eyewitness people testifying that Joe is aware of what's going on. You have IRS whistleblowers saying the thing was corrupt and there was a cover-up. You have FBI whistleblowers saying the same thing. You have suspicious activity reports. You have offshore bank accounts. But the Democrats are like, you know what? The Republicans still haven't really made a connection between Joe and his son's business. Okay. If you also forget about all the photographs, the voicemails, the videos, and the text messages, then yes, we have not made that connection.
Are they trying to insult our intelligence?
You hear that? Right there at the end. They're trying to insult our intelligence. That's exactly what they're trying to do, insult our intelligence as if we can't see what they're actually doing. You don't send a letter a day or two before you're supposed to go see Congress saying, hey, you need to report in to prevent that person from going. And then you have all of these whistleblowers, the IRS whistleblowers, all these other people coming forward talking about the corruption, and they're laying it all out. They're showing it to us. How in the world do we know that Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, there's $3 million involved? How do we know that there's $5 million involved? Are the Democrats denying that these transactions even took place? They can't deny it because it shows it in the SARS report. They can't deny it. They're seeing all the information, but what they're doing is they're coming out and they're deflecting. They're telling everybody that there's nothing here. Oh, Hunter Biden can be in business for himself. He can do what he wants. Well, the Trump kids did all this business. They did business across the world, right? There's no issues with Trump family doing it, but there's an issue with Biden doing it, Hunter Biden doing it. Well, guess what? Trump been in business for years. He was a multi-millionaire, billionaire before he became president. His family, that's their jobs. They negotiate businesses all across the world. They have an actual brand. Not this Biden brand. This Biden brand is completely fraudulent.
And well, imagine how much more is out there because, they've requested a lot. Jim Jordan and Comer requested a lot of information from Biden's bank accounts and other information.
And they're holding it back.
And the IRS and the DOJ and all of them are holding it back. They're not releasing it to the committee. And that just shows how corrupt they are. But like we said before, Comer and Jordan did not give a statement. I wish they would have. Hopefully tomorrow morning they'll be doing that, I hope. But Comer did put out a statement today.
So let's look. Can we put that on the screen?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, let's put this on the screen. You can do split screen. Go ahead. No, that's good.
And so he just put some takeaways. He said Devin Archer testified that the value of adding Hunter Biden to Burisma's board was the brand, and confirmed that then Vice President Joe Biden was the brand, okay? Archer admitted that Burisma would have gone out of business if it wasn't for Joe Biden, the band. This is what Archer testified to today. Yep, they said people would have been intimidated to mess with Burisma legally if Joe Biden was a part of that brand. So that kept him in business. In December 2015.
So wait a minute, this was around 2015, right? 2014. You know,
when he
whatever,
was vice president.
when he was doing all of this. Yeah, he was still VP.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same time Joe Biden was sitting on the panel with the other people telling them that if you don't remove the prosecutor, you won't get the $1 billion.
Yep, and that's what this next statement is. It says the owner of Burisma, an executive of Burisma, pressured Hunter Biden to get help from D.C. regarding the prosecutor Shokin, which we now know later was fired. And it says this raises concern that Hunter Biden was in violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Devin Archer also testified that Hunter Biden put the then president.
Yeah, he said he put Biden on the speakerphone during a business meeting over 20 times.
Yep.
You hear this? Devin Archer testified, right? The Democrats are not talking about this. And again, we're kind of wondering why Comer didn't come out with this statement.
They just talked about the weather. It was just a
right. But he straight up said, you know what?
Yep.
You can't tell me over 20 times they're going to talk about the weather. Listen to me. They're going to talk about the weather 20 times on these phone calls. It says Archer testified that Joe Biden was put on the phone to sell the brand. That's not what is the brand. How many leaves falling down in fall? What is the brand? These calls included a dinner in Paris with a French engineering company,
energy company,
and in China.
Yep.
And in China, and with China. Yes.
BHR. Yeah.
Come on.
And then he acknowledged a dinner with the executive where Joe Biden was present. He had coffee with the CEO of BHR, and the CEO of BER. Biden wrote a letter of recommendation for the college of his daughter to get into college here in the United States.
Imagine
so right
that.
there shows his influence worked, right? Archer confirmed that Joe Biden referred to his dad as my guy, right? And then another takeaway is in 2014, Vice President Biden attended a business dinner with his son, with the wife of the Moscow mayor. And then after that, she was not included in a sanction list of Russia oligarchs. So maybe once again, there was some influence, and that's the whole thing. You know what, Will? And I just want to say one more thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene said today that more Hunter Biden business partners are going to testify in Congress following Devin Archer. She said there is more to come. And then listen to this, Will. Dinesh D'Souza, he tweeted out today. He said they impeached President Trump without jurisdiction for nothing more than inquiring about the bribery scheme overseas, right?
Right.
How ironic that the very same scheme may now get him in impeachment trouble. But
an
the sad thing is, the sad thing is Trump was just inquiring about.
He was just asking about it, and it was a phone call. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, he's like getting too close. He's getting too close, and they were protecting Joe then. So
if he can be impeached with something so little, imagine all that we have on Biden now. It's crazy.
It's Well, they impeached President Trump over hearsay, fraudulent, fake hearsay information, and they knew exactly what they were doing. But here, there's tangible proof. Listen to this one. This one's a blast from the past. Listen to President Trump. President Trump having access to this data. Everything that President Trump says in this video was 100% true then, and it's still 100% true today. It's actually 1,000% true today. He was speaking the truth.
Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because he was very friendly with the former mayor of Moscow, and it was the mayor of Moscow's wife. And you got $3.5 million. Your family got $3.5 million. And, someday you're going to have to explain, why did you get 3.5? I never got any money from Russia. I don't get money from Russia.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life. I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever, ever. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about? China. I have not.
You hear this? He just lied because he was lying. Trump was telling the truth. Joe Biden was lying. And he's still lying today. And the Democrats are covering up for it because, again, we live in such a strange world today where the world is that when you lie, being deceitful, that's perfectly fine. They see that as the norm, like it's okay to do it. But then someone like President Trump telling the truth, they don't know how to react to that. They're like, how dare you? How dare you go out and tell the truth? We don't want that to be the truth. We want what Joe Biden to be saying to be the truth. You know how they have that expression? Well, that's your truth. That's exactly what this is. Joe Biden lied. He knew he was lying. The Democrats know he's lying, but they're so far gone, they don't care for the truth.
The only guy made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
So question to you.
No basis for that. Everybody investigated that. No one said anything he did was wrong in Ukraine.
Really? So they said no one said that what Hunter Biden was doing was wrong in Ukraine. How many of y'all believe that?
And you know what? Byron Donalds has brought up this case many, many times. Trump has a legitimate business. I mean, he has hotels and golf courses and everything all around the world. Biden has no business. The only business he has is political influence. And yet he has all these shell companies and everything, all these shell company accounts and everything. We know but Trump's made money all around the world. That's so stupid to say. Oh, he's made money. Are you kidding me? Of course he's made money. He's a business owner. But see, the Democrats are too dumb to figure that out. They go, oh, well, I know he's a millionaire, he's made money, but oh my gosh, he made money in China?
You know what? When President Trump was in office, I remember that they were going after him saying that he has to disconnect himself from any business, from any Trump business that is happening while he was in the White House. And he said, fine. He said, fine. No issues.
And then he didn't even take a salary.
Yeah, and he didn't even take a salary. He took $1. I think it was $1 because he had to write it down as taking a payment. He took $1. He donated the rest.
Yep. Every month.
Joe Biden has never worked a day in his political life. Never worked a day outside of politics. So how did he become a millionaire? Someone explain that. How did he become a millionaire?
I mean, Obama is too.
Same thing with Obama.
I mean,
how did they become millionaires? Right.
100%.
Shady. Now let's look at some of what the information is coming from the other side. So you heard what the left was saying. Well, Fox News is okay. I get what you're saying, but listen to this because this is what CNN, MSDNC, ABC, CBS, the whole Alphabet Network soup group, none of them are saying this information, what they should be saying, because it's all part of it. This just goes to show that this civil war is also within the media realm.
Well, it's breathtaking that Representative Goldman would come out of this meeting, from what we've learned from Chad, and say that it was just a dad being a dad. It's really unbelievable. You have now an account of these meetings talking about getting rid of Victor Shokin, the prosecutor, and calls being made to the vice president at that time, Joe Biden. You have an account of over 20 such calls. And you have someone who says, yes, the president was part of moving the brand. Well, what was the brand? I mean, this was an influence peddling brand. And the object of that influence peddling was Joe Biden. He was an essential part of that. And he played that role. So if this is true, and I have no doubt with the reporting of Chad, then the president has lied.
Then he has lied. Of course he lied. And remember, originally, it was always the big guy, the big guy, the big guy. Now it's the brand. Like they have a brand. So what is that brand? What is it that the brand Biden has? What is the brand? What are they? Are they selling something? Yes. Have they made millions from it? Yes. Do they want us to know about it? No. What have they been selling? They've been selling out America. And a lot of them are wanting to collect. Why do you think we're in the situation that we're in right now? Joe Biden and the Democrats, the DOJ, the FBI, they're all in it together.
He lied during the presidential debate. He's lied for years, and he's had staff at the White House lie. That's always a serious matter. And the next question is, why did he lie?
Why did he lie? Why do you think he lied, Shannon? Why do you think he lied? Why do you think Joe Biden lied?
I don't think he knows not how not to lie. I think
You're suggesting that Joe Biden doesn't know how to tell the truth?
100%. You know what? He does it so easily, right? I mean, as we saw him in interview after interview where he lies and deflects. Oh, look over there. Oh, look at Trump. Oh, look at Trump. Oh, look at Trump. Oh, look at MAGA Republicans. Oh, look over there.
Yep.
I'm innocent.
Yep.
I have done nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong.
How dare you?
Okay, listen to this one. Here's another one. Okay, coming from the right, for the most part, talking about this. And of course, it's all about the brand. The brand.
This now, Jillian. This is intriguing to our viewers at home. Archer tells the House investigators that Hunter Biden put then VP Biden on a speakerphone more than 20 times to sell, quote, the brand, in parentheses, in business conversations. And Chad goes on to say that Archer testified that there was a value of adding Hunter Biden to Burisma's board, was the brand. Burisma is the energy company out of Ukraine. The argument was that then Vice President Joe Biden brought the most value to the brand. There's that phrase yet again. Archer also stated that Burisma would have gone under if not for the brand. Wow. In December of 2015, the owner of Burisma, gentleman, the CEO who ran the company, placed constant pressure on Hunter Biden to get help from Washington, D.C. regarding the Ukrainian prosecutor, Viktor Shokin. To tie this all together now, this energy company, Jillian, wanted to do business in America. There was even a suggestion through the story that they wanted to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange, but they could only do it if they got away from the investigation that was pending back in Ukraine. And this is the theory that Republicans have now, is that they had to draw Hunter Biden into it. They had to bring then Vice President Joe Biden into it to help get the prosecutor taken out of his job. That would clear the runway, so to speak, in order for Burisma to have greater success in the business community, not just in Ukraine, but specifically here in the United States.
You know what? If this was anything remotely close to something what President Trump was doing, the Democrats would be screaming up and down right now saying that President Trump, he was doing criminal activity with these other foreign businesses. But when it comes to Joe Biden, they literally just look the other way. And you know what? I don't know how else to break it down other than to break it down so simple, right? It's like, nope, I don't want to see it. I don't care to know that what Joe did, because they hate Trump. Think about that. Just think about that. They hate President Trump so much that they're willing to see actual criminal activity taking place, and they're willing to overlook it as if it means no Trump. You understand that? If it means no Trump, they're willing to overlook all of the criminal activity. They can care less.
And you know what? Somebody in the chat, I'm sorry, I didn't see the name. Oh, Nancy in the chat, she said it's all so confusing. And you know what, Will? She's absolutely correct. It is all so confusing. And the reason why is because there's so many layers involved. You have Department of Justice involved. You have Homeland Security involved. You have IRS involved. You have Hunter Biden family involved. You have China involved. Goodness. You have Russia involved. You have Ukraine involved. All these areas, and it's so much. It is overwhelming. It does become confusing.
Yeah, we have organizations that most of us relied on, or most of us, even marveled after. Like when I was a kid, I used to look at the FBI and I was like, man, how cool would it be to be an FBI agent? I used to think that, right? How cool would it be to have one of these jobs? Like, in the CIA, the DOJ. I mean, I guess being a male, because I was highly interested in that activity, that type of stuff.
And Brent said, I'm not confused. It's actually pretty simple.
It really is.
And Guy said, they're all liars. They're all communists. It's all the swamp. It's all the deep state, which is true too.
Let me break it down for people who are like really confused about what's going on. And basically it's like this. Our federal government no longer, the current federal government no longer adheres to the U.S. Constitution. I think that's it right there. Everything else you can add on to it. I think everyone agree that this current federal government does not adhere to the U.S. Constitution. They're wanting to make us to become a banana republic. All of the tactics that they're doing, it's the same thing that they did in these other communist nations before they caused the nations to collapse. They're doing the exact same thing now. The communists are in control, people. Did you get that? The communists are in control. And the only reason why they haven't went full on tyranny is because you and I, we're hanging on to that document. We're hanging on to that document. If we were not able to hang on onto that document, they would have burned the country down already.
Yeah, and you know
they're coming.
And
they
we
are
need to
coming.
keep fighting for it. I bought a book this past week and it was talking about the fight for our First Amendment right. And it goes all the way back to the very beginning of the draft of the Constitution. We've been fighting for the right to have our speech heard through protests or whatever. But the minute we let a tyrannical government, actually, I read you a quote from Martin Luther King, where he basically said, the only reason why we have free speech right now is because we haven't been turned over to a tyrannical authoritarian government yet. And so we need to make sure that we are not turned over to this authoritarian tyrannical government. And that's what's happening right now. When you have every single
we're seeing
Justice
it right now.
Department
We're seeing it now. I think
one
we're already there.
Political party, that's a tyrannical government.
Yeah, we're already there. I think we're already there. Let me ask the question, and I'm looking in the comments. Can y'all tell me, do you think we're there or we're not there? And what I'm saying, do you think that we're already there where we have a tyrannical government in place right now? I'm just asking the question. Do you think? Some people don't think so. Some people do. It's entirely, you don't even have to answer if you don't want to, but I'm just kind of curious. Me personally, I think we're already there because look what they're doing. The DOJ sending this letter. And it's basically the lawyer came out and said it wasn't intimidation. They didn't receive it as intimidation. I'm talking for the guy, for Devin Archer. They said we didn't receive this as intimidation. Well, okay, let's say they didn't receive it as intimidation. It was still a message. It was still a message. It was still a signal. Why couldn't they wait until after today to send the letter? Why did they have to send it Saturday? Why couldn't they wait until Monday evening when he was done or Tuesday morning? Why did they do it then? Because it is full on tyranny. They're going after the political opponent, President Trump, and they're trying to shut up anybody along the way that can get in their demonic, sinister way.
A lot of people agree with you. I agree with you, but I think we are holding on by strings. Like, I still have hope because we still have Congress, we still have Republicans that are working hard and exposing it. And I think we are exposing a lot of this. Will, there's a new poll that just came out. I was talking to you about it earlier today. I should, did I put it up? I think I have.
The new poll? Do you have the new poll?
Where it's talking about, I thought this was fascinating. It said high school.
Do you have it?
Yep.
Do you have it? Can we put it on the screen? Let's
Yeah.
put it on the screen.
So it says high school boys are trending conservative. This is crazy. This is, I wouldn't expect this. It says a popular narrative suggests that young people are liberal and getting more liberal, thus social media buzzed when a chart surfaced in the spring that seemed to suggest that 12th grade boys have become overwhelmingly conservative. Right? Now, it says...
This is really good news.
Yeah, it said since the 1970s, it shows, there's a graph here that shows where you can see we're liberal and then liberalism kind of went away and then it kind of spiked again. And now they're saying that boys are trending to be conservative. It says only 13% of the boys identified as liberal or very liberal, right? In some of these years, but now it's coming back to where it says the figures represent a striking shift in the political views of boys. As recently as late 2000s, liberal boys occasionally outnumbered conservatives. Back in the Carter era, both boys and girls leaned liberal. Nowadays, it's just the girls who are drifting to the left.
Which I don't understand that.
Right.
I don't understand why the females in this country would drift towards the left. And it's the same thing. I don't understand why black people drift towards the left. Especially when it comes to sports. You see how they're doing with sports and females? Why would any female support that? They're losing out on scholarships. They're losing out on jobs. They're losing out on opportunities, benefits, privacy. So why would any female in their right mind support the stuff that the left is pushing?
Because,
it's like it's truly against their self-interest.
I think that the fact that they say my body, my choice has become a huge hashtag for the Democrats. And, these young people get sucked into that. They want to tell you what to do with their body. And now there's this whole, because young girls, especially in this day where perversion, young people are having sex earlier than ever before, they are scared that if they get pregnant, they're not going to be able to have that abortion in their state. And so that's made them shift to liberal, even if they were more conservative originally, right? So
that just goes to show how much we're becoming more like Sodom and Gomorrah.
I was going to say, instead of our homes teaching morals and to do the right thing, this is what's happening in our country. And, women by far, they say, if you have black women control the black vote, white women control the white vote. That's it. And historically, the women, for some reason, have this power to, I guess because we have children. And so we worry about the future. And so we always kind of sway the vote. And so it's still concerning that the women, young girls, are so liberal. In my opinion.
It really is, especially what's happening in the sport arena.
But
I can't comprehend it. They see what's happening. They lose. So basically they lose out on a scholarship, an opportunity of some sort because someone else that's not a woman gets involved and takes it from them. But then they turn around and support the same entity that's pushing that type of stuff on to them and to their schools and to our society. Please, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's the same thing, like I said, with black people. Black people, they still support the Democrat Party, knowing good and well the Democrat Party has always been the party of Jim Crow. It is. And then they said, what is the party switch? That is another lie. Another lie. They got that lie and they're still pushing that lie and people regurgitate that lie, knowing good and well there was never a switch. Why would they free the slaves and then all of a sudden turn around and switch? And they said, well, it was over a period of time. Exactly when did it happen? And they said, well, it happened between 1950 and 1965, when LBJ said that he'll have every N-word voting Democrat within 200 years. But he actually did it within 60. And he did that not in intent to help black people, but he did it to control them. And Martin Luther King gave him the access for that. Martin Luther King gave the Democrats the access for that. That's one thing Martin Luther King did that was a terrible mistake because he was marching and they said, okay, let's sit down. Let's sit down. There it is. Listen to this one because you know what? With all of this happening, they're going to throw Hunter Biden under the bus. You know that, right? Someone has to take the fall for this because they got it. They're doing everything they can to protect Joe Biden. They don't care. They'll burn the country down to protect Joe Biden. But before we get to that heated of a position, they're willing to throw Joe Biden's son under the bus. Because now, remember, he just came out today and said that, it was just casual talk. Joe Biden didn't talk about anything. But I'm telling you, the Democrats are saying we have to do this to save face because we have to make it look like that we are for everyone following the same law. No one is above the law. He's actually going to say that. So this is what on ABC, they're actually going to sit there and say that Hunter Biden should not be pardoned. Watch. Now do it. Oh, there we go.
The White House press secretary this week said that a pardon for Hunter Biden is off the table, but we haven't heard President Biden himself rule it out. Do you think a pardon for his son would be a mistake?
Now listen to this. Do you think a pardon for Hunter Biden would be a mistake? The Democrat, what is his name again? This can we come on here? He was the same guy that was talking earlier. I can't remember his name. What's his name, Shannon?
I'm sorry, what?
What is his name again? His.
Oh, Goldman.
Goldman,
yeah.
Listen to what Goldman says when he's asked a question about Hunter Biden, if Joe Biden would have pardoned him. Do you think it'd be a good idea? Do you think it'd be a good idea not to pardon him? Not to, meaning leave him in jail.
Yes, and I don't think there's any chance that President Biden is going to do that, unlike his predecessor, who pardoned all of his friends.
Now, the only reason why President Trump had to pardon these people because they were wrongfully put in jail. They caught him in loopholes and put him in jail. None of Trump's children were caught on video smoking crack. None of Trump's children were making these sour deals when President Trump was in office. None of them were doing that. But yet we're here talking about Hunter Biden with there's recordings, et cetera, with Hunter Biden, emails, video. But here he's trying to make the connection with President Trump, like President Trump did far worse. This dude is another Raskin. He's another Raskin, another rat skin. He's another rat skin. Listen.
Any chance that President Biden is going to do that, unlike his predecessor, who pardoned all of his friends and anyone who had any access to him. President Biden has restored the integrity of the Department of Justice, and I think you...
What? He literally just say that? Did he literally just say that? Listen to him about what Joe Biden has done with the Department of Justice.
President Biden has restored the integrity of the Department of Justice.
What? Is there anyone that believes that? There's no integrity there. They're destroying the integrity. I was just talking about how when I was a kid, I used to love the idea of possibly be like in the FBI. How cool would it be? Or be part of the DOJ. How cool would it be? They've destroyed the integrity. There is no integrity. Not when they've been weaponized against the American people.
And I think you see that in this case where he kept on and Merrick Garland kept on a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney to investigate the president's son. If there is not an indication of the independence of the Department of Justice beyond that, I don't know what we could look for.
Whatever, because you can say the same thing about Attorney General Barr. He became a snake, Attorney General Barr. Same thing with Mike Pence. He became another snake, Judas Priest. Straight up. Just because someone, hey, President Trump, put this person here, put that person here. President Trump was listening to people that was giving him bad intel. That was his first time in the White House. He was depending on people to do the right thing. These swamp creatures acted like they were on President Trump's side. This guy appointed by Trump, 5 years? 5 years? Are you kidding me? What has he been doing the entire time? Was he getting high with Hunter? What has he been doing? And then they go and make this sweetheart deal for Hunter. And see, they always throw that out there trying to convince all of us that, hey, it's a good thing. It was Hunter appointed by Trump. He was appointed by Trump. No. Let me say thank you too for the rant, the Rumble rant. Thank you so much. I don't know. You can't make it scroll back on the screen there. I'm not sure how you say it. Romy? Is that how you say it? My twin daughters will be voting in their first election in 2024. They are 18 years old and Republican. They get what is going on with our country. 100%. My switchboard operator too. Go to the wall screen there. Go to the wall camera. Yep, right there. Go. My switchboard operator, put your hand up. He's just turned 18. He gets to vote. And how do y'all think he's going to vote? I've been showing him this crazy stuff, so he knows what's going on with these leftist liberals too.
Yeah, we can.
How are you going to vote? Turn that microphone on.
We can lump him in the category of.
No.
We can lump him in the category of the young men turning conservative for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Let me play one more before we get out of here. And man, I have so much other stuff that I want to share with everybody, and there's just not enough time. I should probably go 2 hours. What do y'all think? What do y'all think in the comments? Should I go another hour? Well, okay.
He's teasing you.
Yeah, I'm teasing. So listen to this, because this was on the Communist News Network. This guy here is a Republican, and every now and then he comes out really strong. I haven't heard him, he's on the Communist News Network, but
he's a total conservative.
He is a conservative. He hasn't lean or whatever, and I'm surprised the Communist News Network allows him to be on there, especially after this.
But Scott Jennings, the president has made being a family man a central part of his political identity.
It's not Republicans, with all due respect, who made Hunter Biden into a complete scumbag on this and other issues. The ignoring his own daughter for 4 years, and the president of the United States hanging up a stocking for the dog, and not for his 7th grandchild.
Okay, look.
Now, y'all hear that? He called Hunter Biden a scumbag. What do they call a father that leaves the family? Now, and I'm not saying, sometimes there's different circumstances, but there's some deadbeat dads, scumbags, have families, and they just leave. And some of the deadbeat dads, these scumbags, have more than one baby mama, especially in the black neighborhood. They try to get as many as they can. Scumbag. But listen to the lady here on the Communist News Network as she's going to defend Hunter Biden. Watch this.
And not for his 7th grandchild.
Okay, look. We can also have sympathy for people who are struggling with addiction. Let's keep this conversation respectful.
Let's keep this conversation respectful, she says. Keep it respectful, she says. Don't say anything bad about Hunter. Don't say anything bad about Hunter. Don't tell the truth, especially. And it's not about people being hooked on something, right? There's many families. I'm willing to bet right now, someone watching right now, knows somebody, if not personally themselves, they know somebody who's addicted to something. So that's not what's in question here. The in question is they neglect to do the right thing.
Listen, I totally agree. And you know where I'm from? A lot of families deal with addiction. And you know who ends up picking up the pieces? The grandparents. And in this case, the grandparents would not acknowledge this little girl. It is offensive. But the bottom line is...
But they have now.
Oh, what a hero. The polling must have been brutal.
Just
the polling must have been brutal.
Oh, but they have now. But they have now. But they have now. But they have now. Oh, wow. Really? They have now.
The only reason why they did is because the courts confirmed it.
Yep. They went through the court system, did the DNA test. Oh, yep. It's yours. They should have taken that one on Jerry Springer. Okay. But anyways, hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you so much. Please, if you haven't already, please type in !notify on Facebook. That will turn notifications on if you haven't done so already. Go ahead and put up there real quick. !notify. Just type that in and it'll turn notifications on. And you can turn them off at your discretion, but this way you can turn them on. And if you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. Facebook and Rumble, hit the thumbs up as well. Thank you, everybody. God bless.